Okay, we are on day 9 now. So let's go ahead and see if my C matches what I'm hearing. Mm, no, I was off. So I don't have perfect pitch yet. So here's what we're going to do today. Today's going to be pretty quick. We're going to do something that I'm going to call phasing. It's where I'm going to play either a C, D, or an E, and we're just going to try and identify it. Now, not going to tell you the names of the notes as I play them. You may be able to see my fingers on the piano potentially, but I'm not going to tell you what these actual notes are, and I'm never going to tell you them. And the reason I'm doing that is so that you have to use everything at your disposal to figure out what the notes are. And right now, when we're dealing with just C, D, and E, it won't be that difficult. But as we add additional notes, this will become a little more difficult. And we're going to stick with one octave for now. But what I want to do here is become very familiar with kind of how the C sounds, how the D sounds, how the E sounds. In my composing hour inner ear training course, we're now in week 8. And one of the things that I noticed since I started doing this perfect pitch training is there's a section in there where I'm gradually increasing their musical memory. So right now we have these short little 5-note melodies that we memorize. And what I'm starting to notice is that I can actually tell what the notes are purely based on their quality. And we're also only dealing with 3 notes in that course right now, which simplifies things. But there's a very distinct difference in quality as I'm doing this between B flat, C, and E flat, the 3 notes we're using. So you can definitely, with tone awareness, maybe it's not perfect pitch, but you can reach a point where if you're in a particular key, and this isn't relative pitch, but if you're in a particular key, you can start to recognize certain notes. So every time you hear a G in the key of C, you'll know it's a G. Not because it's scale degree 5, not because it's a fifth away from the root, but because that G has a particular quality. So it's not perfect pitch, but I think it really can help with relative pitch. So if nothing else, I mean, that right there is worth it. So this exercise is very simple. I want to play C, D, or E. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm just going to listen and silently try and determine what note I'm actually playing here. Of course, I have an advantage because I know where my fingers are on the piano, but I'm also not cheating and I know what to listen for. We're just listening for how these 2 notes interact with each other. To me, they sound very different now. Not perfect pitch, but that's something. Yeah, I'm just sort of appreciating the different colors and sounds. And there is a difference. C has a texture, D has a texture, E has a texture. But again, it goes back to that analogy I gave you yesterday. I could have a bunch of bird seed. You could pick out two of them and you could show me them side by side and you could say this one's C, this one's D. And then close my eyes 5 minutes later, I could go back, I could look, and I could say that one's C, that one's D. Because there's only two, and it was done pretty recently, and I can make those comparisons. But let's say you had 12 seeds that are all kind of similar, just with different shading, right? Well, all of a sudden it gets a lot harder. Even though I could tell when I only had a few notes compared to each other, when you start getting 12 pitches and then you add the subtleties of the other octaves, it starts to get much more difficult. So I think perfect pitch is a little bit similar in that you can have an awareness. You can look at a whole handful of seeds and say, yeah, they all have different characteristics, but you can't tell the difference between them if you were to try and memorize them. It would take time. But if you look at them each day, you'll start to learn more and more. So we did this exercise, and now what we're going to do is we're going to think a note, hear it, and then play it. We're not going to sing it though. I know singing is a big aspect of traditional perfect pitch training, but I'm convinced that singing is going to activate kind of vocal tension, and I don't want to do that. So instead, I'm going to go ahead, hear it internally, and then play it on the keyboard and see if it matches. So I'll tell you what note I'm going to go ahead and play so you can try and mentally hear it first as well. Let's go ahead and start with C. You're listening for it in your mind. Was it right? Do it again. One more time. Now let's do D. And if you hear any difference in color, try and hear that when you internalize it. Let's hear E. Hear it first, and I'm going to play it. E. Hear it, then I'll play it. One more time, hear it, then I'll play it. E. C. E. D. E. C. D. E. D. And C. Now we're just going to hear some different octaves. So I want you to try and identify the note. I'm going to know what the note is, but this is more of an exercise for you at this point. Just identify whether it's C, D, or E. C. C. D. 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 C. C. D. D. C. E, E, D, C. The C still sounds different, but up there, the D and the E sounded the same to me. So it's weird. You kind of have it, then you lose it. Okay, it's back now. Okay, now we're just going to do what I call this dipping exercise. Okay, that's it for today. So I will see you on day 10 and we'll continue this. I am noticing changes. Things are sounding a little different to me. But again, even if it's just one of those things where within a particular key or within a particular piece, you start to hear certain notes stand out, I think that's useful. So I'm actually pretty happy with the results so far. So we'll see you again tomorrow and